it's still too close to call, I would say, just because.
Really?
Yeah, with that many ballots still
But
being.
the trend line is Nithya.
It is. The trend line is that, but also with the amount of ballots that are still out there. So I think folks are waiting to
that
call
would be
it.
crazy if it swings back.
Yesterday's update was 122,000. They said that the update from yesterday included 122,807 ballots. And so, they say the estimate of the outstanding ballots is 355,000 vote by mail, 11,340 conditional voter registration ballots, and about 1,840 provisional ballots. So while we're happy, and I'm certainly happy, I'm not calling it just yet, but I have put Spencer Pratt on notice that we do expect the packing to start immediately. He said he was leaving Los Angeles if he lost. We expect people to keep their word around here. I know that's old fashioned.
Well, he already lives in Santa Barbara, so why does he
I agree, but we want to see the live stream process.
You want him out of the Bel Air Hotel
We want him
whatever.
out. He said he is leaving. We expect you to be gone. And then, those of us working on the mayor's race and organizing around it and stuff will figure out what the strategy is, because there's two different strategies. It would have had to be two completely different strategies for a Bass versus Pratt, for a Bass versus Raman, right?
Yeah.
And so it's going to be really interesting. But again, the results have not been certified yet. So that was a good surprise. And we'll see what happens today. Folks, if you want to follow along every day, you can go to the LA County Register Recorder County Clerk's website, look up election results every day between 4 and 5. They drop those new numbers until they're done.
I mean, and I get that. I think it's highly unlikely that Spencer Pratt comes back up, because just the way the votes are, like, a lot of Dems waited until later, myself included, and especially
too.
Progressives. Do we vote to have the first non-white male governor of California, or do we go with a more progressive platform? I ended up going with a more, I'm not supposed to say that, but anyway, you can see it on my Instagram. The point is, a lot of those ballots came in late, so therefore,
right,
it's highly unlikely that Spencer Pratt, unless Donald Trump does some abracadabra, because you saw him melting down.
I did, and we should talk about that meltdown too, and what the appropriate response to someone calling you stupid is, because he said it twice
to Kristen Welk. But what is the appropriate response?
Well, some of it can't be said on air. But
we're supposed to be professional broadcasters, though.
You're not going to sit there and just call me stupid. I don't care what you call my network, but you're not going to sit there and assault my intelligence, and I'm going to sit there and take it. And I'm just not. I'm not. I don't care if you are the president of the United States of America.
Do I sense a Tawanda episode coming?
You know what? I was just talking to Miles about that. And now that the election is over, Tawanda is coming back, because I got time to focus on that. But yeah, no, you're not going to sit there and just keep calling me stupid. But folks, also on the governor's race, let me just say this before we go off into Trump. You have to look at the Secretary of State's website for those results. You cannot look at the LA County election results. We are one of 58 counties.
And we happen to be more progressive than most.
Right. And if you look at our results, it's Tom Steyer and Becerra. But when you go look at the bigger picture, it's Becerra and Hilton when you include all the other 57 counties outside of Los Angeles. Right. And a lot of folks were getting tripped up thinking that, it's a Becerra Steyer matchup, and it's like no, beloved. You need to look at the bigger picture. This is a statewide race, which means everyone who's eligible to vote, who cast a vote, gets to vote.
Which means we have to deal with the opinions of Fresno, for example.
We absolutely
Bakersfield, for example, do. Kern County, the whole Kern County.
Yes, and it's Riverside County, all of it.
The people that brought you Chad Bianco. But
that didn't work out the way he thought it was, did it?
But the thing about that is, most experts are saying he's not 100% out, Steyer, that is. But it does seem to be he's lagging by a lot if you look at the statewide
He's
counts.
at 21.5% to Becerra's 27.2% and Hilton's 25.9%.
So he's trailing 4 points. I mean, Nithya was trailing more than that, but her trend line seemed a lot steeper.
Yeah. So we'll continue to count there, regardless of what President Trump says. We do count votes here. The election's not being rigged. It takes time to count the votes. We're not new to this. California and LA, we go through this every election, every single election.
Well, people are buying it, and there's this online theory. I see it a lot on Twitter. Not that I'm on Twitter a lot, but that says that there was a vote drop which had 0 votes for Spencer Pratt, and that proves that there's election rigging. First of all, there was no vote drop with 0 Spencer Pratt votes. It doesn't exist. Y'all made it up. Secondly, there's no logic in what the president is saying.
There never is.
If you count,
there never is.
If you count slow, that means you cheated. If you double check each ballot, because y'all are always screaming about fraud, that you verify that each signature matches, that means you're cheating. Where's the logic? I don't see it.
There never is any logic, and that is, it still shocks me the amount of people that fall for this. Like, this is not, for most people who vote, this is not our first time at the rodeo. We know how it goes. We know in close races it can take a while. And when we say every vote counts, it really means that every vote counts.
So that means, like, if we counted faster, he'd be happy? And
no,
then
they'd find some. If
somebody counts your money real fast, that means it's more accurate than if they count it slow and count it twice.
You know that if that was the case and the numbers were still what they were, they'd find another reason to say it was cheating. Oh, you did it too fast this time.
Right.
So they're always going to have something to complain about. We'll see what happens. I want to, last week, I don't know if you saw, Spencer Pratt lied and said that Karen Bass supporters were going to retaliate against his supporters. And
I did see that. I thought it was bizarre. Like, what? You guys are the ones that say she's too weak and now they're
right.
Well,
but who has perfected political intimidation? What group of people scaled the Capitol? What group of people have wrote the manual on how to harass folks in politics and make people not want to share their political views?
What group of people?
The people supporting him.
Carries weapons.
Right.
Threatens people on and offline.
Exactly. So let's be clear. MAGA wrote the playbook on that. He is endorsed by their Lord and Savior, Donald Trump. So I just thought that was absolutely ridiculous. And also, it, again, continued for Spencer Pratt in any case to deflect. As long as he doesn't have to answer what his plan really is for LA, let me just deflect.
Well, yeah, it's also fear-mongering, which is pretty much a classic page out of their book. Jasmyne Cannick is here. You're invited in at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. We'll talk Nithya Raman, the councilwoman, and more when we come forward, and you're welcome in. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
As a fitness coach, my active psoriatic arthritis can slow me down. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, I'm treating my skin and joint symptoms so I can keep moving. Skyrizi, a prescription-only injection for adults, helps me move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. And for those who have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible. With Skyrizi, there's no daily dosing. It's just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement. And that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
All I need is one mic.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm James Farr. $2.5 billion. Governor Gavin Newsom said it was there for fire survivors in Altadena and the Palisades. No strings attached. That was the promise. But the burning question is, where's it at? 18 months later, an NBC4 investigation came back with the numbers. The numbers don't answer the question, they deepen it. Where's it at? About $605 million has been spent, roughly 75% still not released. Where's it at? Roughly $14 million went to CHP overtime and ICE immigration protest response for crowd control. Not rebuilding homes, not rebuilding lives, but crowd control. Where's it at? Another $13 million went to the state health department for video campaigns, while fire survivors waited. While families in Altadena are still trying to put their lives back together, still trying to get housed, this is the hope gap and it's real. Where's it at? Southern California Edison is still in court, still fighting liability tied to the Eden fire, still not accountable. Where's it at? 18 months later, Governor Newsom, where's it at? Because the truth is free, but the lie can be very expensive. And right now, fire survivors want to know what happened to no strings attached. And I've been saying on this mic for the past 18 months, somebody or somebodies didn't do their job. Now it's documented. Governor Newsom, listen closely. You didn't do your job. You didn't keep your promise. You held up the bill. Now stop holding up the money. You said no strings attached. Instead, you played on the people's heartstrings. Where's it at? See, Governor Newsom, even at the French Laundry, if it don't come out in the wash, it's sure enough gonna come out in the rinse, and the rinse cycle is here. With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm James Farr, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Right now, you're back to me. You're back to Jasmyne Cannick, and we are always back to you at 800-920-1580. Okay, this is a lot to talk about. I know you want to get, I want to talk a little bit more about Nithya Raman, the councilwoman who looks like she's moved into second place. But let us at least focus for a moment on the city attorney's race, since I know that's near and dear to your heart.
Ooh, we should have played the funeral march for this one.
You got a funeral march?
The funeral march.
Can
we play the funeral march?
Can we play the dead homies?
No. The funeral march.
The real funeral march.
The real funeral march.
Okay, yes.
But yes, for the first time in what has it been?
100 years. Yeah, 100 years.
A current sitting city attorney was not reelected. Now, our current city attorney, for folks who do not know, is Heidi Feldstein Soto. We spent a lot of time focused on the district attorney, but the city attorney actually affects your life way more, unless you're criminally ambitious or you end up being the victim of a crime. So I will say that I was absolutely shocked because she had the most money in the race. So I assumed, you always assume that the incumbent is gonna do well, but she was mired in a lot of scandals prior to the election. And then when the LAPD turned their backs on her and went with someone else, well, you know, a lot of the rest of us had, you know, we had our reasons, and the LAPD had their reasons for the you know, their data being breached.
But how often does that happen? Like, how often does the LAPD police association drop a candidate they've already endorsed? I've never.
I think I've been
so.
around for them doing that before.
Yeah,
but I
okay.
will say this: I also don't feel that they should be making endorsements. Like, I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
I don't think the sheriffs should be able to endorse in the sheriff's race. I don't think, you know, city attorneys and deputy district attorneys should be allowed to endorse in these races, because to me it's Bonnie and Clyde kind of situation, right? It's not like a labor union, let's say, of hotel workers making an endorsement. This is who you work with, this is your boss, etc. So I have mixed feelings about that to begin with. But yes, so the police union you know, had dropped her and went with John McKinney, who ran, and then a lot of the rest of us were sort of backing Marissa Roy, who is.
I know they call themselves a union, but yeah, okay, I don't consider them.
Okay,
They're
well,
like a cartel,
you know.
but I get it. Yeah, they dropped her supposedly because of the data situation.
Well, right, their information, you know, being leaked and then I think in return her response to it, her not letting them know quick enough. And so at the end of the day, Marissa Roy and John McKinney are now in the runoff for this race, which is quite amazing because you would have thought that Heidi would have at least made it into second place.
Yeah,
but
when you already have the job, the job, right? You're supposed to at least be in contention, even if you don't win. And and
it's very low. 18%.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because they were both in the 30s, right? In percent.
41, Marissa Roy.
She made it up to 41.
She made it up to 41, and John McKinney's coming in behind at 29.
So when the challenger doubles your numbers, that's not good, right?
She's done. She should start packing. My advice for the incoming city attorney, which of course we won't know until November, is do not travel around with 5 security and bodyguards. Like, there's no need for the city attorney of LA to be moving around the city in that way. You are not that desired.
Most people don't even know who the city attorney is, but I bet you now they do. And the thing about the situation that we're in now, aside from the fact that an incumbent has not missed the runoff in 100 years, is that now we have a much more clear-cut race, even though some people may be confused, because you have a progressive
right
out of the state attorney general's office versus a prosecutor, even though he is black, who's been endorsed by
district
the
attorney,
district attorney,
the current district
Nathan
attorney.
Hochman.
But what I think is really important for people to understand is that, again, unless you're criminally ambitious or a victim, you don't really deal with the DA's office. But I guarantee you deal with the city attorney. They're the ones who also act as the attorney for the city of LA. If the 15 members around that council or the mayor decide they want to come up with some sort of new ordinance, aka law or whatever, it has to go through the city attorney's office. Is this possible? Is this legal?
Right.
They are also another reason why Heidi was targeted was her prosecution of protesters.
Well, I was just going to say that. Let's not give the police association all the credit or blame, depending on where you are on the issue.
Yeah.
I mean, because she was under siege from both sides.
That's what I said. Yeah, but for different reasons, right? And so the city attorney's office also is responsible for prosecuting most of the misdemeanors within the city limits. They're also the ones who deal with homelessness way more in terms of like whatever the city council comes up with. Also on the prosecution side, right? Vagrancy, loitering, things of that sort.
And rent,
tenant landlord issues follow. Your sort of, how you're, blight in your neighborhood, your quality of life issues all fall through the city attorney's office. All of your neighborhood issues.
And that was the other thing. She was accused of slow walking those funds that were meant to help tenants stay housed by offering them lawyers when they're in eviction court. And so again, when it's a rare day when you see Black Lives Matter LA and the LA Police Association both hating the same candidate.
Right. But, so this is where we're at, folks. And so, like I said, like I tell people all the time who follow me, the primary is not, it's just a primary election. So you're not getting matching tattoos. You're not walking down the aisle. There was no blood oath. You get another stab at the apple again in November. That wasn't the final draft. It was the first draft. So we're all coming back at this again for November. And if your candidate didn't advance, now is the time for you to follow the two who did so you can make up your mind on who you want to support in November.
Paul in the chat says Republicans won't allow mail-in votes to be counted earlier or before Election Day. Republicans use this as a talking point throughout the country in every state. Yeah, that's what they like to do, create a problem and then either take credit for solving it or blame Democrats for it.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. But what I will say is, a lot of people don't understand the difference between politics and government. They also don't understand the whole idea between partisan and nonpartisan. And, all these races that we're talking about, at least on the city level, right, they are nonpartisan, but they're partisan in a way, right? Because as we all know, the parties do get involved, right? The mayor doesn't run as a Democrat. The city attorney doesn't run as a Republican.
Right.
But we do know that these folks do have political affiliations,
no doubt,
right?
No doubt. Hold that thought. We got a hard stop for news, traffic, and sports. I always like to know how you can uncover said affiliations.
I'll help you do that.
Yes, indeed. KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions. This is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Senator Mark Warner says allegations against Maine Senate candidate Graham Plattner are disturbing if true, but says voters will ultimately decide.
Maine voters are going to decide this. I've got my own election this year. I'm trying to get rehired in Virginia.
Several women have accused Plattner of threatening behavior, claims he denies while acknowledging past struggles with PTSD and alcohol. The Iowa Supreme Court has ruled the University of Iowa cannot change how a scholarship for black students is awarded. Justices said the scholarship is funded privately and must follow the donor's wishes, which specify to go to black students studying physical sciences. The case now returns to a lower court. And Snoop Dogg took the stage in his hometown of Long Beach, California to headline the opening of a new waterfront amphitheater. The 11,000-seat venue opened with a sold-out show, and the rapper was honored with a key to the city after his performance. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Make this summer one to remember at MGM Grand Las Vegas. Lounge by the pool, catch world-class entertainment, indulge in unforgettable dining, and experience the energy only MGM can deliver. Plan your Vegas escape today at MGMRewards.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
We're going to find out if the San Antonio Spurs are mentally tough. The atmosphere for Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight inside Madison Square Garden and around New York City will be electric and intense. Knicks fans have been celebrating in the streets after the Knicks won the first two games in San Antonio. Are the Spurs and Victor Wembanyama up for this challenge? Only 5 teams in the history of the NBA playoffs have come back from an 0-2 deficit to win the title. The Spurs do have some confidence in New York. They were not blown out in the first 2 games. The Spurs had a 1-point lead with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter in Game 1 before the Knicks pulled away. In Game 2, Wembanyama missed a game-winning shot at the buzzer. The Spurs lost by 1. We'll see if the close outcomes in Games 1 and 2 have an impact on the Spurs tonight. 5 p.m. tip-off on ABC. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580, your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive.
You want balanced? Go somewhere else. You want honest? You're already here. 5 years ago, KBLA Talk 1580 made a choice to be the progressive alternative Los Angeles deserved and never apologized for it. We haven't. Not once. 5 years, same mission, zero apologies. KBLA Talk 1580, live on 1580 AM and streaming everywhere.
Happy anniversary!
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. It's high time that we say the quiet part out loud about what we consider a disgrace, an absolute disgrace to the people of South Los Angeles. Destination Crenshaw, or as I call it, Procrastination Crenshaw, was supposed to be a 1.3-mile celebration of Black Los Angeles. Pocket parks, commissioned art, a cultural corridor along Crenshaw Boulevard, stretching from our studios in Leimert Park down to Nipsey Hussle Square. It was set to complete in 2022. That's right, 2022. We are now in 2026, and the Crenshaw community is still waiting. A grand opening was announced for February 2024. That date passed with not a single artwork installed. Then we were promised that construction would be completed by the end of 2024. That date came and went. Our understanding is that as of last fall, the 8th Council District Office was still scrambling to raise additional monies just to restart the project, which has been paused again and again. But here's what makes my blood boil. City officials had the nerve to tell this community the delays are, quote, a necessary inconvenience, close quote. A necessary inconvenience? First of all, who are you talking to? Second, go tell that to the black business owners who have been coping with construction chaos, breathing dust, enduring years of road closures and the scarcity of available parking, confronting unsanitary conditions, losing customers and revenue, all while the project they were promised still sits unfinished. They wouldn't let a project sit this long in any other part of this city. And for what it's worth, our elected official just happens to be the president of the LA City Council. Meanwhile, the city is laser focused on sprucing things up for the World Cup and the Olympics. Please, if this corridor were in Brentwood or Beverly Hills, it would have been completed on time, on budget, and on the cover of every magazine in town. The Crenshaw community deserves better. They deserve the truth, and they deserve what was promised to them. Now, right now. Not when it's convenient, not when the cameras are rolling for the Olympics. Now, this isn't incompetence. This is a pattern. And at some point, neglect becomes a decision. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
All right. Jasmyne Cannick is here. She's a Democratic strategist. I'm like, And also a journalist, an award-winning journalist, a delegate for the LA County Democratic Party. Okay, so Raman. The LA Times says that, according to their UC Berkeley, LA Times poll, that if Nithya Raman makes the runoff, she beats Mayor Karen Bass. That's what their polling shows. What do you say about that?
I have to look at the polling. I'd be interested in knowing sort of what questions were asked. I think
and who they asked,
of course. And I also think that if it ends up being Nithya and Mayor Bass, it's going to be interesting, but I also feel like it's at least going to be a race where the issues are actually debated and discussed.
Yeah, that's the upside for sure.
For sure.
And we don't have the threat of Spencer Pratt becoming mayor of Los Angeles.
Right. We can actually get into what the issues are.
Mm-hmm. So, I think any person that doesn't want Mayor Spencer Pratt should be breathing a sigh of relief right now.
I mean, I'm just saying, just don't get too comfortable yet until it's official.
Till every vote is counted. Yeah, I got you. But let's say she maintains her position, which it seems like she will. But you're right, it's not final. She, was scheduled to come on this show and then told us she didn't have enough time. To me, the signal was, I don't need Black LA. I haven't seen her courting Black LA at all.
She never has. Not even when she ran, I would say, for city council, because look at what her district is, right? Where her district is.
Yeah, but
I think you might see a new candidate, Raman, if she makes it into the runoff. Really? If she stays, new in terms of more willing to speak to Black voters.
Yeah, but I just feel like, to me, it's if she proved to herself that she doesn't need us in the runoff, why would she come for us now? Try to court us now?
Look, I'm fine if she never comes down here and courts the Black vote, because I'm team Mayor Karen Bass all day, every day. But I think that she realizes she's going, or her team are going to realize that you cannot ignore the Black vote. And I don't think Black voters are going to let her slide by. And now that a lot of people were really distracted by the amount of people in some of these races. I think we had 14 or 15 people running for mayor, some 50 odd people running for governor. We had several people running for city attorney. The ballot was pretty thick this time around. Now that it's narrowed down to 2 people, I think folks will be able to handle that much better, focus in on who these folks are. And if you're listening and you're like trying to figure out, well, how do I do all of that so I can keep up and make an informed vote? Follow their campaigns on social media, sign up for their emails. If you're not a social media person, they all send out emails. They all, put their campaign stuff online. That's one sort of passive way to do it, in terms of it'll come to you, right? If you follow them, you'll see it in the algorithm.
Whether you like it or not.
Right. If you sign up on the email list, the emails will come to your inbox, so you can keep in touch that way. And I hope that we all are following these candidates so that we get a better idea where they're coming from. I was having an interesting conversation last night about this, and, there were some folks that were like, oh, Spencer Pratt supporters, if it's Nithya, what are they going to do? I said they only have 2 choices. They're going to either vote for Mayor Bass, or they're going to not vote at all.
I don't think so. I think they're breaking to Nithya. She's the one crying that the city sucks and we're going to hell in a handbasket. She's the one giving the more fear-mongering Republican-style rhetoric. And even though even though progressives, some progressives feel that she's a progressive, I think she gets the white grievance vote. I think she does.
I don't know, because there are a lot of folks who are scared of her in that white grievance group, because they just still remember her as being the defund the cops type of democratic socialist.
Yeah, I get that, but I don't. I think the white grievance vote goes to Raman, and I think the Never Bass.
We might have to go to the Valley and do our own poll.
Yeah, we should.
We should go to the
Can we bring it to Wanda? Yeah, I don't know. I don't see. I think the Khloe Kardashians of the world will never vote for Karen Bass. With their misinformed viewpoints.
Well, I don't think they can.
And the anti-black
they
vote
live in LA.
ain't going for, well, they certainly were endorsing.
Yeah.
We'll see. And the anti-black vote definitely goes to Raman.
Like I said, it's going to be interesting. I hope Richie Rich is knocked out and it does come down to Raman and Bass, so that we can get into these issues. I think that Mayor Bass has a strong record to stand on. So that we're clear, I don't think that any candidate should go unchallenged. But if you're going to challenge somebody, challenge them legit, like challenge them on the issues. With the Spencer Pratt crowd, we heard a lot of racist rhetoric,
and
lot of lies, and I hope that if it's a Raman Bass runoff, that's gone. Like, we're just dealing with issues. We're not dealing with people. We're not dealing with race in terms of how a candidate looks. Like, I don't want to hear any of that.
But
These
you
are
know
both
what?
women.
Even if you don't hear it, whenever a black woman is trying to do anything, the subtext is there. We can pretend it's not.
I agree, but
the checking and humiliation and undermining of black women is just a given, and you know that better than anybody. Even if we pretend it's not about race.
I hope that we're able to keep it on the issues and not about the race or people's looks and this and that, because the Spencer Pratt crowd was quite vicious, quite racist.
It's going to be about race. It's going to be about age. It's going to be about
I believe it.
tribe.
We're going to have a whole conversation on the age thing, right? Because I have a lot of thoughts there, because, there is a lot of rhetoric there, but the rhetoric doesn't match the votes either. That I'm like, okay, you complain, but then I go look at the voter numbers. I look at who the turnout was, and I'm like, oh, there we go. Those high propensity voters, that 45 and older, that 65 and older, versus the chit chat we see and hear online from the younger folks doesn't match up with who actually showed up and voted.
And I've been saying this all along, but I'm going to restate it here. In the governor's race, and I think there's a sexist component to it. We hear, we need a steady hand. We need someone not flashy who's got all the experience, so we'll choose Becerra. Why doesn't that apply in the mayoral race? Is that ageism? Is it sexism?
Yeah.
Is it something else, the thing you don't want to talk about? I don't know. Is it all of the above? I don't know. But we know that the mayor has served as a congresswoman. She's been the Speaker of the Assembly.
She could have stayed a congresswoman.
Forever.
She could have stayed there forever. She did not have to take this thankless job, because you can never make everyone happy as mayor of a city as large as Los Angeles.
Or anybody. Yeah. Okay. So when we come forward, Jasmyne Cannick, I have to get your thoughts on the Compton races, because you always follow them much more closely than I do. Molly Bell knows Stephen Bradford did not win. He did not make the runoff for insurance commissioner, as far as we know, with the votes counted so far.
And all of these election results are public and available to you too online.
Yeah, but not everybody's good at finding stuff online.
Just Google
Jasmyne.
LA election results. You'd be surprised at how fast they come up.
You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Hi, I'm Chris Holden, former California Assembly member, former Mayor of Pasadena, and CEO of LA Fire Justice. I've spent my career fighting for our communities. When I saw Edison celebrating $4.5 billion in profits while Eaton fire survivors struggle to make ends meet, it made me simultaneously sick and furious. Families and individuals are dealing with financial pressure, insurance delays, costly remediation, and the painful question of how to rebuild their lives, while the utility that caused the fire is paying its executives millions and is more profitable than ever. That's not justice, that's a disgrace. Join the lawsuit with LA Fire Justice to hold Edison accountable. We're here to help you, your family, and our community recover. Visit lafirejustice.com today to learn more about your eligibility and how to start.
Advertisement. Douglas Boxer, 221 East Walnut Street, Suite 100, Pasadena, California, 91101 is the attorney responsible for this ad.
LA Fire Justice is proud to sponsor Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
For communities impacted by the war on drugs, cannabis legalization was supposed to create opportunity, but too often people entered the industry without the information they needed to succeed. That's why the Los Angeles County Office of Cannabis Management, in partnership with Life Development University, is presenting the Cannabis Worker Voices Panel on June 13th at 3 p.m. at Life Development University, located at 4241 Crenshaw Boulevard. Hear directly from cannabis workers about their career journeys, day-to-day experiences, challenges, and opportunities. Learn about workforce pathways, transferable skills, and what working in the legal cannabis industry really looks like. Free public education designed to help you make informed decisions before investing your time, money, or energy. Register today at lacountycannabised.org or call 323-747-6728.
Going to a World Cup match in LA this summer? Ditch the parking stress and ride Metro. With direct service from across LA County, it's the easy way to get there for just $1.75 each way.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 connecting you with services and solutions. The midterm elections are upon us. It is voting season once again. Common Cause's motto is fighting for the democracy we deserve. In service of that goal, Common Cause puts its state and national policy expertise, massive network of grassroots supporters, and nonpartisan approach into action to strengthen our democracy against the challenges we face today. They work at every level of government on priorities that impact each of our lives, like defending the right to vote, limiting big money's influence on our elections, holding public officials accountable, and more. Common Cause is a nonpartisan grassroots organization dedicated to upholding the core values of American democracy. They seek to empower all people to make their voices heard in the political process. This election may be the most important one ever. If you'd like to make a donation or volunteer in service to the Constitution, please visit commoncause.org. That's commoncause.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
It does, and today we went in with Jasmyne Cannick, an LA County Democratic Party delegate and Democratic strategist, as well as an award-winning journalist. Jasmyne, remind them how to find you.
Sure. Hello, Jasmyne, Jasmyne on Insta, TikTok, and Threads. And then just, I'm Jasmyne Cannick on Facebook. I'm at Jasmyne on X. I don't really use X. I let it auto post. So, sending me messages on X is like sending messages into the black hole.
So that's me on Facebook. Don't DM me on Facebook.
Because to me, it's just an auto post. Like whatever I post on Insta ends up on X. Just whatever. I don't want to be in that swamp. But yeah, and then my website's iamjasmyne.com. But yes, and if you follow me, you'll learn a lot about civics, because I love to do civics with Jasmyne, explaining and breaking down stuffs, and it's okay. We all need a refresher in civics, sometimes. So I do the Civics 101 for newbies, and then our new political scientists and our new election experts that have popped up all over the internet.
Was little Jasmyne like that? Was like 6-year-old Jasmyne talking about, I'm just a bill?
No, but I did love that. I absolutely loved Schoolhouse Rock. I still do.
So, Javier Becerra, the former HHS secretary, leapfrogged Steve Hilton. I think that and Pratt were the reasons why the president had a full-on meltdown, cuss out, freak out.
He knows who to do that in front of.
Oh, he was raging.
But
But
they'd have had to get me up off of him.
yeah, Secret Service. Well, you'd be under the jail right now.
Probably. But yeah, so, Steve Hilton is at 25. Becerra is at 27. It really looks like that's going to be the matchup. And again, friends, because I had a friend of mine who posted the results from LA County, like, oh my God, it's Steyer and Becerra. And I'm like, actually, it's not. You got to go to the Secretary of State's website.
Yeah, if everything was up to LA, a lot of things would be different around
A
here.
lot of things in this
It would be
state.
a lot better in this world, let me tell you right now. But it isn't. We got a whole golden state, which I call a bipolar state, with a lot of red in the middle and blue on the sides. Luckily, there's more people in the blue parts because they are smaller geographically. But
yeah, so that's what it looks like.
Which
it's
is why
gonna
we
be.
have a MAGA guy versus corporate Dem in the governor's race. And in the mayor's race, it looks like we may have skipped the MAGA guy.
It looks like it. Fingers crossed. I'm ready to send a few boxes over to Spencer to help him get started packing. Like that, I'm happy to donate a few boxes. I really am. Yeah, I'm happy to. I mean, I might even chip in on the U-Haul. I mean, what the hell? I'm feeling generous this morning.
You are, but his parents are super rich, so he might not need our help. Talk to me about Compton.
So in Compton, it's going to be a matchup between the current mayor, Emma Sharif, and Councilmember Andre Spicer.
Who's a millennial, right?
Who is a millennial.
Speaking about generational shifts.
Yeah, so they're going into a runoff, which is going to be quite interesting to see how that works out. She came in with 41% of the vote, a little bit over 41, and he got a little bit over 18% of the vote.
But there were a lot of people running.
There were a lot of people running. In total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. I haven't had my coffee all the way. 7 people running.
And the former mayor, Omar Bradley, was running?
His son.
The son was running. I was wondering, why would Omar Bradley? He's already been mayor. Okay.
But this name, we've seen this across the country before, where the children of folks run if they have, especially if they have the same name or even just the last name, because people know the last name, right?
Yeah.
And so, but in this case, no, it is the son. Satra Zarita was reelected with 63% of the vote.
She's been in there for a while, right?
She has, and what that means when you get 50 plus 1 is you don't have a runoff.
Right.
City Treasurer Brandon Mims, 58% of the vote, so that race is done. I will say, Compton, y'all did a great job in making sure Jace Dawson did not get elected to your city council.
That was the sidekick of that disgraced city council member, right?
Isaac Galvan.
Yeah.
Yes. So y'all did a great job. He came in second to last. So, but it looks like there's going to be a runoff between Benny Tinson and Anthony Perry in that second district race. And as of right now, it looks like Jonathan Bowers has 52%.
Okay.
So Compton 3rd District looks like that race is set.
All right. So then let's talk about black candidates in statewide office. We mentioned Stephen Bradford, who was a state senator, did not make the runoff for insurance commissioner, which actually surprised me. Nichelle Henderson,
let me quickly pull up all those votes, because sometimes even I have a habit of just looking at the governor's race.
Right. I know that Malia Cohn, who was statewide controller, a black woman, moves on.
Mike Gibson is going to move on for the Board of Equalization.
Yeah, I think he was the front runner there.
Definitely the front runner, but not with enough to be through with it. It looks like another Democrat,
Sam Sukatan, who's really been endorsed by a lot of progressives. Yeah.
So that's going to be a matchup between those two there. And for folks who don't know, Mike served on the. I want to say that Mike Gibson served on the Carson City Council,
and he was an assemblyman,
and then he went over to the assembly member.
He's in first place in that race, but he may have a tough battle because Sukatan is getting a lot of union and a lot of progressive support. We'll see, because he's been in office for a long time, Gibson, and has quite a following. And then of course Tony Thurman who ran for governor,
yes,
did not do well. Didn't crack, I think, 1%.
No.
So a mixed bag for black candidates in statewide races.
It is a mixed bag, but
Michael Tubbs also didn't make the runoff
for lieutenant governor.
Yeah.
And that's who I supported. But here's the thing. It's not over. Folks can work. And oftentimes what we see is folks come back and run for different positions, or they do the work and they wait for 4 years. Not really 4 years. If you're gonna run, you usually start running about 2 years out. But they wait and they come back around and try it again. So we'll see what happens there. But we've had more black folks run for statewide office than ever, and I think that's super exciting.
Are we holding at the at Luna and Villanueva? Is that
yeah? So that's yeah. So Eric Strong did not make the runoff. That was really sad for
that's
me.
The one that gives me a
but I cannot believe that Alex Villanueva
made the runoff.
That's so again,
crazy.
I keep learning that I have a lot of closeted MAGA neighbors.
Apparently.
So Alex Villanueva could be our sheriff again, Los Angeles County. Think about that.
Under this era of Trump, with Bill Asaley as a prosecutor, with Nathan Hochman as a DA, it's like we might as well move to apartheid era South Africa at that point.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. So our current sheriff did make the runoff, obviously came in number 1, and then Alex Villanueva, then Eric Strong, and then the rest of the folks. But like I said, Sally Eric didn't make it into the runoff, so it looks like it's going to be a matchup between Alex and current Sheriff Robert Luna. And, again, folks, if you want to follow these races, follow these campaigns online, sign up for their email list. Hopefully we'll get a good debate out of a couple of debates out of these candidates for sheriff. I mean, again, just because you're an incumbent doesn't mean you shouldn't debate the issues. I expect Alex and Luna to debate. I
wish they would let you moderate.
They would never.
They would never.
But they should.
But they should.
But yeah, folks are so scary. They get so scared.
Yeah,
I mean, they talk a lot of crap, but then at the end of the day, they're really scared.
Jasmine, we got to go. Time
Okay.
flies when you're on the radio.
It
Thank you
does.
so much for being here.
No problem. It's great to start my week off in community and with you and Miles and our LA fam. So yeah.
News, traffic, and sports, then more on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Senator Mark Warner says allegations against Maine Senate candidate Graham Plattner are disturbing if true, but says voters will ultimately decide.
Maine voters are going to decide this. I've got my own election this year. I'm trying to get rehired in Virginia.
Several women have accused Plattner of threatening behavior, claims he denies while acknowledging past struggles with PTSD and alcohol. The Iowa Supreme Court has ruled the University of Iowa cannot change how a scholarship for black students is awarded. Justices said the scholarship is funded privately and must follow the donor's wishes, which specify to go to black students studying physical sciences. The case now returns to a lower court. And Snoop Dogg took the stage in his hometown of Long Beach, California to headline the opening of a new waterfront amphitheater. The 11,000-seat venue opened with a sold-out show, and the rapper was honored with a key to the city after his performance. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Make this summer one to remember at MGM Grand Las Vegas. Lounge by the pool, catch world-class entertainment, indulge in unforgettable dining, and experience the energy only MGM can deliver. Plan your Vegas escape today at MGMRewards.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
We're going to find out if the San Antonio Spurs are mentally tough. The atmosphere for Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight inside Madison Square Garden and around New York City will be electric and intense. Knicks fans have been celebrating in the streets after the Knicks won the first 2 games in San Antonio. Are the Spurs and Victor Wembanyama up for this challenge? Only 5 teams in the history of the NBA playoffs have come back from an 0-2 deficit to win the title. The Spurs do have some confidence in New York. They were not blown out in the first two games. The Spurs had a 1-point lead with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter in Game 1 before the Knicks pulled away. In Game 2, Wembanyama missed a game-winning shot at the buzzer. The Spurs lost by 1. We'll see if the close outcomes in Games 1 and 2 have an impact on the Spurs tonight. 5 p.m. tip-off on ABC. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm James Farr. $2.5 billion. Governor Gavin Newsom said it was there for fire survivors in Altadena and the Palisades. No strings attached. That was the promise. But the burning question is, where's it at? 18 months later, an NBC4 investigation came back with the numbers. The numbers don't answer the question, they deepen it. Where's it at? About $605 million has been spent, roughly 75% still not released. Where's it at? Roughly $14 million went to CHP overtime and ICE immigration protest response for crowd control. Not rebuilding homes, not rebuilding lives, but crowd control. Where's it at? Another $13 million went to the state health department for video campaigns while fire survivors waited. While families in Altadena are still trying to put their lives back together, still trying to get housed, this is the hope gap and it's real. Where's it at? Southern California Edison is still in court, still fighting liability tied to the Eaton fire, still not accountable. Where's it at? 18 months later, Governor Newsom, where's it at? Because the truth is free, but the lie can be very expensive. And right now, fire survivors want to know what happened to no strings attached. And I've been saying on this mic for the past 18 months, somebody or somebodies didn't do their job. Now it's documented. Governor Newsom, listen closely. You didn't do your job. You didn't keep your promise. You held up the bill. Now stop holding up the money. You said no strings attached. Instead, you played on the people's heartstrings. Where's it at? See, Governor Newsom, even at the French Laundry, if it don't come out in the wash, it's sure enough gonna come out in the rinse, and the rinse cycle is here. With the KBLA Talk